The Elves leave Middle-earth at different points in time, with the last ship sailing sometime in the Fourth Age. It is commonly asked whether it was really fair for the Elves that leave Middle-earth when the time of war was looming. The most obvious answer was that the Elves' ability to leave was known for longer than the War of Sauron. However, there were still many Elves who remained, such as Galadriel and Elrond, two of the Bears of the Three Rings. It was even shown in the Peter Jackson films that once the Fellowship sets out, there were Elves leaving Middle-earth, never to return. The Elves would grow weary of Middle-earth, and this would result in fading. However, it seems to not only be fair, but the only thing many could do. It seems to be also dependent on when they were born. The bodies of the Elves were similar to that of men, while the minds of the Elves were different to the point where they would have a perception of time that is unique to themselves. However, this speed of growth and rate of aging had nothing to do with the perception of time. As the Eldar say of themselves, and this may in some degree also be true of men, when persons in whole being fair and heroa are fully occupied with things of deep natural concern and of delight to them, and are in great bliss and health, time seems to pass quickly and not the reverse. The minute enjoyment and appreciation of events and thoughts in the time series does not, as might be supposed, make time seem longer, as might a road or path that was minutely inspected, for that inspection would only be carried out by slowing the rate of normal travel. Thus, the Elves would not necessarily live slowly, despite living much longer than mortal men. In fact, regardless of their perception of time, they still do think and move faster than mortal men, likely causing them to be wary of their lives in Middle-earth. Also, by the time of the Third Age, the Elves were not as keen on fighting battles as they were in earlier ages when it seemed they'd have more activity. Many elven men were great healers, as they were skilled in the lore of healing bodies, though such men abstained from hunting and went not to war until the last need. This was apparent in all of the ages, but especially the third, during the time period before Sauron awakens and gathers his forces. While there were some elves in battle, many of them were not involved. After the War of the Last Alliance, most of the elves have sailed west. Lindon became largely depopulated, with Círdan a shipwright mainly building ships for elves to sail west in. Lindon also suffered a great loss with the downfall of Numenor and shrunk when the Third Age began. After the King Ar-Pharazôn's assailing, Numenor itself on the edge of the rift topples and vanishes forever with all its glory in the abyss. Thereafter, there is no visible dwelling of the divine or immortal on earth. Ar-Pharazôn had convinced himself that he would be just like Arendelle, and that he would sail west, and the Númenóreans followed suit. As a result, the elves mourned the loss of the light, and Lindon shrunk in size, leaving less space for the elves to dwell there, let alone build armies. Círdan's shipbuilding would be reserved mainly for the elves to set sail. The Númenóreans should not be tempted to seek for the blessed realm, not desire to overpass the limits set to their bliss, becoming enamored of the immortality of the Valar and the Eldar and the lands where all things endure. Aside from Círdan's shipbuilding, the elves who dwelt there, as well as Rivendell and Lothlórien in the Third and Fourth Ages, were mainly there for two reasons: an unwillingness to leave and a sense of duty to the people of Middle-earth during the War of the Ring. Thus, while it was still available to the elves, many of them would see no need to remain, though there were few exceptions, such as the Bears of the Three Rings, who have to remain until the fall of Sauron with the destruction of the ring.